Heal the gut, heal the autism. You've probably seen this one. Fecal transplants, gluten-free diets, gut healing protocols, all promising to treat autism at the source. So, can gut health cure autism? Let's look at what's actually been tested. Before we get into gut health and autism specifically, quick bit of biology. The gut and brain are genuinely, constantly talking to each other. The vagus nerve connects them directly. Most of the body's serotonin is actually made in the gut, not the brain. And gut bacteria produce compounds that can influence inflammation throughout the body. This is real, well-studied science. The gut-brain axis isn't a fringe idea. So it's not crazy that someone would wonder whether fixing the gut could help with autism. The question is whether that's actually been shown to work. Let's look. Let's start with what's real. Autistic people do have gastrointestinal issues more often than the general population. That part isn't in dispute. Treating constipation, reflux, or a genuine food intolerance can meaningfully improve someone's comfort and quality of life. That's worth doing on its own terms. The question is what happens after that. Does fixing gut symptoms remove autism itself? The most direct version of fix the gut is fecal microbiota transplantation, literally transplanting gut bacteria from a donor. And I want to be fair here, because the research isn't nothing. So this is genuinely being studied, with some real signal, not nothing. But the researchers behind these studies are upfront about the limits. No blinding, no randomization, small samples, and effects that fade. That's early-stage research, not a proven treatment. And to be clear, FMT is a real medical procedure done in hospitals under supervision. It is not the same thing as the gut healing protocols sold online. And here's why not a DIY fix matters so much. There's a Netflix documentary called Hack Your Health, where a young woman did an unsupervised, homemade fecal transplant to treat IBS, first using her brother's stool, then her boyfriend's. After using her brother's, she developed his hormonal acne. After switching to her boyfriend's, she developed his depression. When she switched back to her brother's, the depression cleared within a week. It's a striking story, but it's one unsupervised case, self-reported, with no control group and no way to rule out coincidence. Experts who reviewed the documentary specifically warned that this was presented as fact when it's really anecdotal, and that DIY fecal transplants carry real risk of transmitting harmful bacteria along with anything else. What it does illustrate, well, you're not just transplanting good bacteria, you're transplanting someone else's whole microbial profile, which is exactly why this stays a supervised medical procedure, not something to try at home. Now, the one most of you will actually recognize, the gluten-free, casein-free diet. And this is where it gets genuinely interesting, because different reviews reach different conclusions, and the reason why is worth understanding. When researchers only look at the strongest trials, properly blinded and controlled, the effect disappears. The positive results mostly come from weaker studies without those safeguards. That's not a random contradiction. It's exactly the pattern you'd expect if the diet doesn't actually work, but expectation and observation bias make it look like it does in less rigorous studies. You'll also hear leaky gut used to justify some of these diets, the idea that a damaged gut lining lets toxins leak into the bloodstream, causing everything from autism to autoimmune disease. Worth knowing, leaky gut syndrome is not a recognized medical diagnosis. What is real is intestinal permeability, a genuine, measurable property of the gut lining, studied in real conditions like inflammatory bowel disease and celiac disease. The leap from that real biology to this explains autism is where the evidence gets thin. Same pattern as the diets. The smaller, older studies found a difference. The bigger, better controlled one didn't. And this theory is the actual foundation of the GAPS diet, a restrictive protocol marketed for autism, built entirely on the claim that leaky gut causes it. Current reviews describe the research behind that specific claim as limited and mixed at best. One real exception, though. If a child has a genuinely diagnosed gluten or dairy intolerance, or celiac disease, removing that specific trigger makes sense, same as it would for anyone else with that diagnosis. That's different from putting a child on a restrictive diet as a blanket autism treatment without an actual diagnosis behind it. But here's a real complication that gets left out of a lot of this advice. What if the only things your child will reliably eat are gluten-filled bread and crumb chicken? Or he only wants milk, Autistic children have significantly higher rates of restricted eating, often tied to texture, smell, or sensory sensitivity, not simple fussiness. Just cut it out isn't a neutral instruction when that food is one of the very few things holding his nutrition together. Removing it without a plan can mean real weight loss and nutritional deficiency, not just a harder mealtime. And here's the genuinely difficult version. What if he does have a real, diagnosed gluten or dairy intolerance, and that trigger food is also the only thing he'll eat? That's not something to solve alone in either direction. It needs a team, an allergist or GI specialist for the medical side, and a feeding therapist or dietitian experienced in food selectivity working together to slowly build tolerance for other foods before the trigger gets reduced, not after it's simply removed. Treating a real gut issue can make someone's life meaningfully better. That's worth doing, and it's not a small thing. But it doesn't remove autism, and the strongest evidence we have doesn't show that it does. If your child has real GI symptoms, get them properly diagnosed and treated. That matters. Just don't expect it to be a cure, because right now, the evidence doesn't support that. And that's a distinction worth holding on to.